What's up, guys, and welcome back into Breaking Boards. Sorry about last week. A bit of a bye week for me. I had some health things going on that I wanted to get taken care of, but back in the saddle and ready to go and ready to break down the Thursday night DFS contest for Showdown over on DraftKings. We have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to take on the Denver Broncos. This game total currently sits at 43, with the implied team total for Vegas being 16 and the implied team total for Denver being 26.5. Ready to jump into this game and break it all down for you guys. And without further ado, let's jump right into the breakdown for Thursday night. Taking a look here, and the first thing we should probably take a look at, if you haven't heard the news or if you haven't been keeping up with the trade deadline stuff, Jacoby Myers was traded from the Vegas Raiders to Jacksonville yesterday. But as we look at the Vegas side, up top, you have Geno Smith. I think personally for me, he's just not going to be a top option for me on Thursday night. I think this is a game where this Denver defense is just going to take control of this game, and Denver is going to beat Las Vegas pretty handedly, in my opinion. I think that 9.5, 10-point spread that we have for Thursday night, I mean, it may not be enough, in my opinion. I think Denver takes control of this game and gets an easy win. But if you are feeling the Geno side, you can pair him alongside Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, Dylan Carlson, who's in probably the best matchup for the Vegas Raiders in this one. Tyler Lockett's probably going to see more snaps than what he should. Michael Mayer, I like a lot in this spot. Raheem Mostert, Jack Besh, Deontay Thornton. If you're talking huge contest, you could go Dylan Laube. I think that's about it. As far as we move down the board, Ian Thomas is seeing some snap share as well, so don't hate getting to him. If I were going to run Geno Smith captain lineups, which I will be way under the field on him, if we're being perfectly honest with one another, this is not a contest that I'm going to love a lot on Thursday night. There's not a lot to take advantage of, in my opinion, and I'll be looking to make bets more than I will be looking to play DFS for tomorrow night. But I wanted to break this thing down for you guys as I'm seeing it for this contest. So if you have Geno up top, I would pair him alongside two of the players we just mentioned. If I were building, I would probably fade Geno in the captain spot, and I would look to get to more of his pass catchers up top. And if we're doing that, I'm going to look to get to a couple of guys that we'll talk to here in a minute. But, a lot of these guys are just in better spots than sets up for Geno here on Thursday. So moving over to the running back position, you have Ashton Genty, and you have Raheem Mostert, and then to a much lesser extent, you have Dylan Laube. Laube would be someone who is a dart throw in very, very, very large field contest. Otherwise, I would not play him at all. Raheem Mostert, in my opinion, is going to start to see his snap shares trend upward just a bit. I think, having Carroll as the head coach here and, looking at this season as kind of a bust, I think they're going to lean on a few of these veterans to really carry the load here in ways that they probably shouldn't. I think Mostert's going to see more of a snap share than he probably should. I think you're probably going to see more of Tyler Lockett than we want to headed throughout the rest of the season for Vegas. I think Vegas is just going to be an absolute mess as we head throughout the rest of 2025. Mostert's fine here at 2,400. I mean, he hasn't really done much. But again, I do think that his snap share will improve slightly. So, I mean, if you get to 8.3, you're doing fine at 2,400. Otherwise, he's overpriced. But I do think we see a 3 or 4 fantasy point output here for Raheem Mostert. Not going to be someone that I'm going to look to get way over the field on or anything of that nature. But if he falls into a lineup in the flex, I wouldn't mind it. If I were building on Thursday night and looking to play 20 max sets, I wouldn't mind getting to some Ashton Genty up top. I don't love it in the sense that this Denver defense is just great across the board, maybe the best defense in football in 2025. If you're going to pair Genty along with someone, you could go Bowers in the flex, you could go Carlson in the flex, you could go Mayer in the flex, or you could go one of these cheaper wide receivers, probably looking at Jack Besh. But I do prefer, if I have Genty up top, doing a 2-4 build. So Genty and along with one of these guys, or if I'm looking to build for Thursday, I would go for Denver, and then I would have two of these guys in the flex. That would be my favorite way to play the contest from Genty in the captain spot. Rolling over to the wide receiver spot, you have Trey Tucker, You have Tyler Lockett. You have Jack Besh. You have Deontay Thornton. And then Bachman has seen a couple of snaps, but really he's large field dart throws for Bachman. Deontay Thornton saw, the last time we were without Jacoby Myers in this Vegas lineup, Deontay Thornton saw a ton of snaps. It was basically a 1v1 replacement for Jacoby Myers. That's not guaranteed. Again, I think this is going to be a messy situation. I have both these guys, Besh and Thornton, down for about 60% of snap shares. I do think that they're going to look to play Lockett more than they should, as we just talked about, but I think that Lockett's pretty much capped at around that 40 to 45%, as I just don't think he has the legs to be out there 60% of snaps anymore. If you want to mix either one of these guys in the flex, I don't hate it. Preferred option would be Jack Besh, as I think he does set up from a physical standpoint as a 1v1 for Jacoby Myers. But again, it's not guaranteed with these older coaching staffs. These guys tend to lean on veterans when they shouldn't, in my opinion. Deontay Thornton's fine here at 1,200. Prefer him in the flex. He is a bit of a deep threat and a larger body. He could be, in line for a touchdown here, but I don't think the Vegas is going to score a lot. And if I were going to play it that way, I would play it over on FanDuel. Jack Besh, again, if you want to mix in a couple of captains in 150s, I don't hate it. Not something I'm going to love to get to, but don't mind it at all. Tyler Lockett's just a fine play. If he falls in at 3K, I don't hate it, but not something I'm going to look to get over the field on, and would not play him in the captain spot. Trey Tucker's a fine option. I do think he'll get, an increase in target, but I think he's kind of capped from a skill standpoint. Not going to look to get way over the field on him at all. And for me, I don't mind getting him in the captain spot, but for me, I just prefer other options here for Vegas. If you do play either one of those guys up top, I would probably consider Geno in that lineup, but I don't think that you have to. Again, I don't think this is a spot where you have to go with Geno. I think he's probably looking 10, 11, 12 fantasy points, in my opinion. Moving over to the tight end spot, and probably my favorite spot to take advantage of, I think Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer are going to see as many targets as they can possibly handle. To a lesser extent down here, $200 range, you have Ian Thomas. If you get a lineup that you love that has $200 remaining, he's probably the best $200 option for Vegas, but that's not saying a lot. $2,800 Michael Mayer. If you get a 16, you're cooking. 5.6 is fine at that price tag. I don't hate him, and I do think that if you are looking back come Friday on this contest, I think that you're probably going to be seeing that Vegas is going to be in 12 personnel a lot with two tight ends on the field. So I don't mind getting to Michael Mayer in the flex, and I do think he's a fine option in the flex. If you want to mix and match a captain or two in 150 sets, I don't hate it, but not going to be something that I do. Brock Bowers, I will play as much of him as I possibly can on Thursday. Just pulling up my sheet here. He is my highest owned captain, and he is my highest owned flex, or second highest owned flex play to Bo Nix. But I'll be way over the field as much as possible on Brock Bowers. I think he's going to get peppered with as many targets as he possibly can, and absolutely blew up last week with 46.3. Don't expect that to happen again. I don't even expect Vegas to get 3 touchdowns, but I do think that we can, consider 18.3 in the range, maybe somewhere in the 25-point range with as many targets as he's going to get. He saw 13 last week, so I don't hate him in the captain spot. Again, you don't have to play Geno alongside him. I actually prefer Genty, Carlson, Besh, someone like that. I prefer, again, 2-4 builds with Vegas captains, and I prefer 4-2 builds with the Denver side. As we roll through the kicker and the defense for the Raiders, Dylan Carlson would be my third favorite, maybe second favorite. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Kicker defense on the slate will be over the field on Dylan Carlson. Don't mind getting to him in the flex. If you have 1 of 50 sets, you can play one of him in the captain, or maybe 2. If Vegas does keep this close, you're probably talking 4 or 5 field goals from Dylan Carlson. He hasn't shown it this year. Started off the year pretty well, but I just think the defense of Denver is going to stall this Vegas offense, and if Vegas is going to look to stay in the game, they're going to have a lot of field goals from Dylan Carlson. Raiders defense, mix and match. I'll be way under the field on them if I were building any kind of builds for Thursday night football. As we roll over to the Denver side, up top you have Bo Nix, probably my favorite flex play on the slate. I am over the field in the captain spot as well. If you have Bo Nix up top, you can pair him alongside Cortland Sutton, J.K. Dobbins, Troy Franklin, R.J. Harvey, who's starting to bust onto the scene. Broncos defense, Will Lutz, keep an eye on him. He does have an illness as of Wednesday when I'm recording this. Evan Ingram, Marvin Mims, again, keep an eye on him. He had a concussion. Won't look to get way over the field on him at all. Pat Bryant, Trotman, Tyler Bidet, Trent Sherfield. Prentice does see some snaps as well. And then Mercedes Lewis saw 10% of snaps for some reason. Excuse me. In 2025. Don't love it at all. Therefore, Mercedes Lewis. But I would pair Bo Nix along with one or two of those guys in a lineup. Don't mind getting 3 as well if you're looking to do 4-2 stacks alongside Bo Nix. Moving over to the running back position here, you have J.K. Dobbins, you have R.J. Harvey, and you have Tyler Bidet, and then you have Prentice. Prentice and Bidet, large field dart throws for me. Don't love either one of those guys. They will get in where they fit in. R.J. Harvey has started to bust onto the scene here the last couple of weeks. I don't think this is a situation where they're going to get to him a lot in the air, but he could see some extra work and semi-garbage time on the ground. So I don't mind mixing him in the flex or in the captain spot. Again, if you're going to be building, I would build 4-2 Denver side. So you can pair him alongside Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix, the kicker of the defense, anyone of that nature for RJ Harvey. Same thing with J.K. Dobbins. I'll mix and match. His snap share is a bit concerning as it's starting to come down. He's around 50-55%. I do think he can get there in that amount of time, but not going to be something that I'm going over the top of the field just trying to plan for. Prefer Harvey at his price, but I don't mind getting to a lot of J.K. Dobbins in the flex spot. Moving over to the wide receiver spot for Denver, you have Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, you have Marvin Mims, you have Pat Bryant, Trent Sherfield. I'll be way under the field on Marvin Mims again, coming off a concussion. I've had quite a few of those in my life. Just not something that I think you can come back from and be 100% in that first game. So I'll be quite significantly under the field in the flex and in the captain spot on Marvin Mims. Trent Sherfield is a dart throw in large field contest. I love these 3 guys for Thursday night spot. I do think you can get over the field in the flex and in the captain on Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, or Pat Bryant. Don't mind getting to either of these guys. If I have either of these guys up top, I will pair alongside Bo Nix in the flex. I will have a couple of captain Pat Bryant lineups if I'm building, 150 sets. Troy Franklin and Cortland Sutton, both in a good spot here. And I don't mind getting to either one of these guys in the captain or in the flex. We'll be way over the field on both. Again, if you have either of those guys in your lineup, make sure you are getting Bo Nix in the flex spot. In the tight end spot, you have Evan Ingram, you have Adam Trotman. And with Aikens questionable, I don't think I'm going to look to get to him at all. Trotman is fine at 1,600, but I won't be playing him very much. I mean, he's just kind of been pedestrian start of the year, even though he is seeing a majority of the snap share at the tight end position for Denver. So you can mix and match him where you get him at 1,600. Evan Ingram's fine. Good price tag in the flex. We'll mix and match a couple in the captain spot, but we'll predominantly look to play him in the flex spot if I'm going to get to Evan Ingram. If you do play him up top, pair him alongside Bo Nix in your flex. Again, Will Lutz and the Broncos defense. Lutz is just dealing with that illness. I don't think it'll keep him out of the game, but I do think it'll, I don't think he's going to have any kind of breakout game. So I won't have very much of him in the captain spot, if I get there at all. But I don't mind getting him in the flex spot some. Much prefer the Broncos defense and actually will be around 3% on the Broncos defense in the captain spot in 150 builds. That's going to do it for Thursday Night Football's breakdown. If you're interested in additional content, content is up on the site at breakingboardsdfs.com. Would much appreciate if you want to go over there and check that out. If you scan the QR code on your screen, it will take you over there. We'll put the link in the video description as well. I appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully you get something out of the content. If you do, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, as I will be covering as much DFS content for the NFL season throughout the rest of the season over on DraftKings. And I will be covering best ball throughout the offseason. Again, glad you all could be here. Hopefully you take down something large on Thursday night, and we'll see you guys in the next video.